Hi, this is Gavin Kirsta, just showing off the final level, Skyrim level, Blockout. So, the main narrative that I was planning on telling was a story of a man who got turned into a werewolf, and eventually kind of goes and, turns into a werewolf at home and kills his wife, realizing what he's done when he's come to, closes himself off from in society in a mine that's connected to his house, uh, and summons guardians, spirit guardians, since he's a summoner, uh, to, oops, to protect himself, or not really protect himself, protect other people from himself, so that he doesn't hurt anybody else. So it starts off in this thing, initial kind of house area. This is actually it's in Markarth, the Molag Bal uh, abandoned house. It's the first room that I've began to customize. I'm planning on doing, all this stuff is untouched right now. That's why it looks so nice. I'm going to be ripping it out and kind of redoing it to make it so it's my own. I'm leaving it as is now, since to kind of use as a template eventually. But the player starts here and will find this custom NPC I made, which custom as in just it's a Nord woman with a specific, I think it's barmaid clothing, and her name is specific. She'll have a wedding band on her. Currently it's Vittoria's, so I'll probably rename that if I can figure out how. Otherwise, I'll rename the NPC Vittoria. But she'll find this, and then later on, when you find the man, the werewolf, you'll have the matching wedding ring on him. But this is going to be, I'm going to put like enchanting tables and stuff like that, since he's a summoner, kind of show that, he has a little, had an area of business and stuff like that. He was part of society. But then, there'll be back here, there's going to be like a storage room. I would do barrels and stuff like that. But this will, this I did on my own. Yeah, I customized this part where it has all the stuff on the table. It'll be flipped over, kind of showing a struggle where she died. And actually, now I think about it, I'll probably want to put blood decals and stuff. I have that a little later in. Most of this level is not lit. This has some lighting, although it looks a little glitchy for whatever reason right now. But that's why I have the torch and a staff of mage light. So in here will be the room, or their room, and this mine will be connected to it. And currently has a gap right there, but that'll be fixed. And I'm gonna start clearing this out. I just put a bed just to kind of denote what this is. But then further in, this is where the cave begins. So the player will kind of go through here, and further in, they will see a large cave opening. Currently, a lot of this stuff doesn't have any clutter in it, so it's got huge sight lines. Like, you can see, all that stuff. It'll be blocked up, cluttered up, just so that, they have to kind of move around and, not just see the entire thing in front of them. But they will see the summoning circle, kind of use goat sacrifices, and they will have an encounter here with their first spirit guardian. So it kind of showing right off the bat, this guy kind of in his grief, trying to shut himself out, summoned these people, or these spirits, to protect other people by basically scaring them away, if not eventually just, I guess, killing them, but just so that he doesn't have to endure anymore. And so that they will spawn here. I haven't done any work with the spawns yet, so I'll have to figure that out later. But otherwise, they will see this right here. Actually, is it's currently a door, but well, I think it's barred. Yeah, so it's barred from the other side. This effectively works the same way, but this will be not visible. So they'll see this area, again, there's going to be lighting later. They'll see this area, and they'll see this area, and the balcony up there, with a lever. If they'll manage to see that, there will be a lever right up there. I changed, actually, I think, the position of that lever. It's not there yet, but I think, to put it there just so they can see it. And then there's this big door, which is effectively the end of the level. This is where they want to go, but if they go to it, it's not barred yet, because there's nothing hooked up to unlock it, but they won't be able to open it, and it'll have once I figure this out, unless if I don't figure it out, I'll probably put in 2 doorways with levers, but the two levers in the level will connect to this, and they'll have to do both of them in order to unlock this door. I think there were levels in Skyrim that did that, so I'm pretty sure it's possible. It's just a matter of actually getting to do it. Otherwise, they'll be able to go through this door or this door, either one. It doesn't really matter because of the way that I will be setting up the way that keys and one-way doors work. So they just go through. Let me re-equip a torch. And this is just a connecting area. It'll be cluttered up with some rocks and various things like that. But then in here, this is one of the areas that they can go to. They can go down here if they notice it. I guess it's possible that they don't. They probably should if they look around enough. There will be a piece of treasure here, so kind of a dead end where they'll be able to find a chest right in the corner. And then they can go up here, back up once they get the chest, and continue back through their search. That's a little too low, I noticed right now. Yeah, definitely too low. Struggling to get back up. Alright, then they can go across the gap, and through here. This, oh. Forgot to put ceilings in there. I guess it's not terrible. I can maybe do some more openings to the ceiling, but this area, I think it's too large right now. So after having put it down and walking through it, I think it is definitely too large because I'm not sure if I'm gonna put enemies here. I don't want it to be like cluttered with enemies and stuff like that because there's gonna be enemies down below. So I might think about shrinking this area down or slimming it down to like a hallway or something like that with just this drop off in the middle. But they drop down here. This will be the kind of changing of the kit used into I think it's the Imperial Fortress or something to that extent. I think it starts with high MP. And just to kind of show it's a little more man-made, not natural cave. And this is where they will see, one, depending on which pathway they take, but on this pathway, they're the first enemy encounter along this way, excluding that the main area with the summoning circle. And in here, though, is a little bit different because the Spirit Guardian or Spirit Guardians that they encounter probably only do one in this room. Yeah, I think I only do that in one because that Spirit Guardian will have a key on it, which will lead further in. So this door is a one-way door because if they go the other route, I don't want them coming into here yet because they'll have access to the key then. So this is a one-way door that they'll have to unlock. It will actually be, this is the final asset that I think I'm going to use just of the ward door. And I don't have any of the doors with locks in them. I could probably put normal doors in, but they effectively the same thing. Once they go through here, though, this... Actually, this should have been a one-way door. This would have been a one-way door, so they can't go through. Let me just double-check. Yeah, so there would have been a one-way door right here. Apparently I forgot about that. And then otherwise, here is the door that they just got the key for from this area. But then over here... This would be a locked door that requires a key, a different key from the one you got. And then over here is a locked door with a master lock. I want it to be master specifically, just so it is quite difficult. I don't know if I can specify that. I hope I can, because I don't want it to be too easy. I want this to be a kind of a room with a chest in it, so that they have to work for it, and it's another pathway. So if they want to complete their way through without doing both ways, they can. But they will have to do at least one of them the correct way, which would be this way. So they unlock the door that would be there. And then through here, this is where they'll encounter, I think on this one, multiple Spirit Guardians. And just kind of blocking the way to the lever. And then once they finish them off, they go this way, all the way to the end. And back through right here. I think right here, at least. Yeah, I don't think I want it to be there so they can see when they activate the leather. I'm not completely sure if I can get everything working exactly the way I'm thinking of, but what I was thinking of was kind of like gears, I think, is the assets that were used on that one doorway that I was thinking of that had 2 required levers. Gears would start up showing off one side, and I'll have to re-equip a torch, showing off one side of the doorway kind of working, and then if they put 2 and 2 together, oh, okay, the levers activate the gears, then there's another lever that I'm missing because there's 2 sets of gears. And they can, even after trying the door once, after dropping down, they can try the door once and realize, oh, it's still locked even with one lever pulled. So they'll go back through. I'm not completely sure if everything worked, because like the fact that I had to look at the door and then I had to turn away to go back, I don't know if I necessarily like that. I might have to think about reorganizing where these doors end, because it's a little too convenient. Like that one I might want to put on that side. Otherwise, just they're not all on the same thing. And this one won't be visible, so I guess it'll look a little bit less obscure. Let's re-equip another torch. But yeah, go through here. This is their second pathway that they could have chosen otherwise. And then go on their way through. This is where they would meet one spirit guardian holding a key, and they wouldn't have been able to go into this room from the other way. They would have had to come from this way, so this would be a door with a bar. They would unlock the bar, and they'd be like, oh, hey, I recognize this spot. That's why that door was not accessible if they tried it before. And then, you know, they could go back through. There wouldn't be much reason to go back through there. And then they could realize, okay, there's a door that I can unlock now. And then there's this door, which I can try to unlock. They can succeed, not succeed, depending on what they do. But otherwise, they would go through here. There would be a chest, something, or at least something to reward them. You know, an item, I don't know, spell book, something like that. But they would go through here. They could come through there. That's where the chest, the treasure room thing is. Go through this way. And then this is where they would, again, kind of, you know, mirroring the other side. I wanted them to be mirrored, so it's kind of like he sets up two specific gateways, two specific sets of what's the conflict? There we go. Kind of to stop people from being able to get to him. So we set two things up, and you know, a bunch of spirit guardians, probably already spawned and maybe walking around. I haven't worked with the nav mesh and stuff if I can get them to kind of walk around within their space just yet, or if they have to be spawned or have to stand still. I haven't worked with it just yet, so this will be stuff that'll be coming in the second first iteration, whatever, the next deliverable. So I kind of wanted I put in some blockages, mixed up this play space. I think I'm going to be putting in a lot more urns, large rocks, maybe a couple columns to definitely break up this area so that, you know, they can fight maybe one-on-one. If there's multiple, there will be multiple. Maybe close off though the sight line so they don't aggro multiple guys. I can't remember how spawns work. I think if they aggro one, they'll probably aggro all of them basically. Which actually might be something I have to worry about too. I might have to see if I can split up the nav meshes so they can't just run across the entire thing, so that they don't aggro the entire other groups. For the most part, that shouldn't happen due to the doors, but there'll be some playtesting involved with that. And then right here, though, is where there will be a lever. I'm going to put some lighting around it just so they hopefully don't miss it. If they do miss it, it's a really short walk. It's just up there is the doorway. But the last lever will be here. I'm not sure if I can spawn like gear noises or something like that. And there might be like a Dwemer sound pack that I can access for that, so that they can kind of hear the gears grinding in the distance. And I'd like to set it up for the other lever if possible as well. They would go through to here. I don't think so. I'm not going to be using this door. I think there's levers or buttons that you can set up, and then I finally found it not long before I finished this up. I just didn't really want to put it in because I didn't know how to hook up the button for it. The cave secret door, I think it's called. So they would be effectively the same thing of a one-way door with the button on this side that they would open up and be like, okay, so that's how you get back, and realize, okay, well, now I can go back this way. So with both gear things, both sides of the door now completely unlocked, they would have access to this area. And in here is, I haven't been mentioning my mini narratives. The first mini narrative was the woman in the beginning, his wife, with a wedding band on her, describing how, and the story of the struggle kind of all around her, the assets around her being thrown about and such. That's the first mini narrative of him having killed her. This one is the second mini narrative of him kind of, you know, going insane, sacrificing goats and summoning these spirits. Get another torch in here, and then the final mini narrative, the third one, whatever, is just right here, showing kind of his collapse into insanity with the parchments all over. I think I might be able to find some more assets that would kind of denote, like, you know, different altars, and I had it over here, you know, his kind of food source where he was hunting goats and eating them here and stuff like that. And actually, this is leg of goat roast, so he must have a way to cook, so I'll need to put a campfire around somewhere. But yeah, through here, you won't find him in here though, just his one living space. And then through here is where he will be as a werewolf. And I don't know if I can definitely determine this, but it'd be kind of cool if he could actually come out of this cage. That'd be kind of cool. So he'd come out of the cage. Probably too small for a werewolf to fit through that, so maybe not. But inside, there's I put in these chains. Actually, I don't think, yeah, they're not unlockable ones, but yeah, there's the chains. So he's locking himself inside of this each night, and then he turns, or I don't know. I guess it would be each full moon. I don't know if that's exactly part of the lore in Elder Scrolls. And this is where you would fight. There would be a final chest in here, or a final item, or on his body, his person, maybe like a spell book, something, some kind of loot, some kind of reward for the end. And then I left this area open because I'm not exactly sure how I want to complete the area. Like, I'm not sure if we have a way of putting this in the actual world space so that you can go outside the level. Or if it's just like we close it off and we say, yeah, level done, whatever. I wasn't sure about that. So if there's a way to actually put this inside the world space and then have this area be like the exiting to the cave, and have like in the beginning you come in from the town or a next to the city, and then through here you would come out of a cave mouth on the side of a mountain. That's what I would prefer. I'm just not sure if that's what is expected of us, or if it's actually viable in the time that we have, if it's difficult to set up or anything like that. I'll have to look through tutorials and see if I can manage it. But yeah, that basically clears up the main block out. So there should be in total 3 loot chests or main rewards, with the master lock room, the hidden treasure in the sewer kind of whatever cave on the one side, and the main actual loot in this beginning, as well as I'm planning on putting in urns for different sources of gold and random treasure, jewelry, whatnot, that I think should be able to spawn in randomly their own based off of the player's level. And yeah, otherwise I think that wrapped it up.